Hey folks, welcome back to the farm. We're going to do the fifth installment of Cake Week, fifth and final installment. So stick with us and we'll show you what we're going to make. You're going to love it. We're making today one of my favorites, Flan Cake. It's the Hispanic origin, of course, because flan is. But it's not just flan, it's actually cake with flan on top of it. So some people think it's tricky to make, but it's really not. The cake does a little magic in the oven, and we'll show you how that works. But our first order of business is always preheat the oven to 350 degrees, and then we're gonna melt some sugar. So before we turn on our oven to preheat, you're going to get a pan that the bundt pan will fit into. I'm just using my big roaster pan, and put an inch of water in it and put it in the oven, and then preheat your oven because you want this water to heat up with your oven when it preheats. And your cake pan is going to sit in this water and bake in this water bath, and that'll create a nice even temperature during baking. So before we get melting the sugar, we buttered our bundt pan really well. Make sure you don't miss any spots in that because it's really important that this cake comes out easily. I got my helper Ramona with me again today.
It kind of looks like a giant donut.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it comes out. So we're going to start melting our sugar. So we've got a cup of sugar in our saucier pan here. We got it on medium heat.
That's a lot of sugar.
That is. And we're going to get this melting, and as it melts, we're going to keep it stirred up. And then once it's all melted, we are going to go until it's just like caramel brown, but nothing beyond that. You don't want it too dark, so stay on top of it. So we'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, sugar's melted and it's starting to brown. I turned it down to low heat because it was racing a little too hard. We don't want to overcook the sugar. And as soon as you see all the sugar dissolved, we're going to pour all of this in the bottom of our cake pan. We've got our sugar melted and we poured it in the bottom of the pan, and it will harden up when it cools. But as the cake bakes, that's going to melt again. And when you invert the cake, that's going to be your caramel sauce that kind of runs down over the side. So that's trick number one. So the next thing we want to do is make a cake mix. And the recipe that I got years ago called for a vanilla cake mix. But I like making what's called Chocoflan. And to do that, you need a chocolate cake mix, of course. But you can tweak this recipe and use whatever cake mix you like. I'm sure this would be really good with any flavor cake. So we're going to make this cake mix as directed on the box, and then we will pour it into the pan. So my little helper is helping mix the cake mix together. She just put the oil in. Now she's going to dump the water in. The counter's a little high for her. And then she's going to dump in 3 eggs, being careful not to spill them out of the bowl. Dump them right in the bowl. Good to go. Now if you would, throw all that stuff in the sink and we'll get this thing mixing. We've got the cake mix mixed up and we've poured it over our caramelized sugar in the cake pan. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the flan portion. So in our blender, we've added a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk, and then we've added a can of sweetened condensed milk, and those are 14 ounces. Now the recipe calls for 2 of these cans of condensed or evaporated milk, but I substitute 1 can with some coconut milk. I pour this in and then I fill that up with coconut milk to get the same measurements. I like a little coconut, as you might know if you've been watching the channel. And then into this we're going to add 3 eggs and a teaspoon of vanilla as well. And we're going to blend that up. We've got all our ingredients in there. Ramona's going to take it for a spin. All right, that should be good. So you just want to combine it till it's well combined. And then we're going to pour this on top of the cake mix in the pan already. Was that fun?
That was crazy.
So we're going to dump this over the cake mix, and this is where the next magic happens, because as this thing cooks, this flan mixture is going to invert with the cake mixture and end up on top between the cake and that caramel topping that's going to run out all over the top. So let's pour this in here. Look out, sweetie. And I just kind of go around evenly. Now, may not take the whole mixture, but we'll put in there as much as we can. We went ahead and put it all in.
It smells kind of gross.
So we're going to put this in the oven in our preheated water pan in there. All right, it's been an hour. Our toothpick came out clean, and there she is. So now it needs to sit on this wire rack for about an hour and let it cool off. And then it's going to go in the fridge, and it needs to be in the fridge for 4 to 6 hours before you unmold it. So we'll come back when we do that. All right, we just got home from a doubleheader baseball game in town, and our flan cake's been in the fridge for about 6 hours. So we've taken that same pan that we cooked it in, the big roaster pan, and I put some really hot tap water. We have really good hot tap water. If your tap water is just kind of lukewarm, you might want to use water from like a kettle or something like that. Ramona's going to try a piece when we unmold this thing. So I'm going to leave it sit in here for about 5 minutes, and then we'll get to flipping. All right, you can see that it has unmolded perfectly, and our caramel sauce has dripped down over the sides and down in the middle, both places. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to cut a slice out of here and give it a try. Are you ready, Ramona? Yeah. Ramona got the first bite. What do you think?
It tastes like marshmallows.
Tastes like marshmallows. Do you like the chocolate cake mixed with the flan?
It's really good.
Yeah, cool deal. Even though it's 11:30 at night, shouldn't be eating this stuff. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed Cake Week as much as you enjoyed Pie Week. That was our final installment. Come out fantastic, really good. There's not a lot to it. Don't be intimidated by the process. It comes out real nice. So, till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. We're going to be doing a garden tour coming up here in the next couple of days because there's things starting to show in the garden a little bit. So we'll do a little tour of that. So catch you on the next video.